I'm Shannon Mallory with Durham Parks and Recreation, and today we're going to be making salt dough house ornaments. In order to make our salt dough house ornaments, we need a number of supplies. They are a wooden spoon for mixing, parchment paper, a couple of paintbrushes, a little votive candle, electronic, cotton balls, a small piece of white paper, glue, liquid food coloring or regular food coloring that you've mixed with water, some things to make designs and punch holes with like a straw, maybe a little popsicle stick or a tube from a flower, scissors, salt, flour, a large bowl, and a rolling pin. We'll also need water. I'd like to introduce you to who we'll be working with today.
Hey, I'm Bridget Robinson.
Hi, I'm Michael Honeycutt.
Hey, I'm Christian Dixon.
So I've already put the amount of salt and flour in each of your bowls that you'll need. Today we're going to be working with a half a cup of salt and 2 cups of flour. What you need to do is just mix them together in the bowl so that they are a completely even mixture. This will be important for when you're putting the salt dough in the oven to make sure that it has the right consistency. Have your mixture mixed together like Bridget does, you want to slowly pour the water in as you're mixing. So I'll pour the water in so that Bridget can concentrate on mixing it. We're doing 3/4 of a cup of water. Set that down just to make sure we're at exactly the right amount. We're good. So what Bridget will do is she will keep mixing until it's not easy to use the spoon. At that point, she'll get the rest of the salt and flour mixed into what is now the dough with her hands. So once you can't use that spoon anymore, Bridget, just pick it up and start to mix it with your hands. All right, let's come on over to Michael. So Michael has his mixed, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll just pour his water in, and we will take little breaks to make sure that it all gets mixed properly. Okay, so let's just measure and see if Michael's gotten everything he needs. You just get one more little bit of water. And actually what's happening here is it looks like Michael doesn't necessarily have enough water in here, so we'll let him mix all of that in. Although it is important to follow the recipe as much as we possibly can, if you notice that your mixture really is too dry and kind of crumbly, that's not good. So you'll just add a little bit of water to that. So let Michael finish that off, and let's go give Christian some water. So as you can see, I gave Christian a little bit too much water in his, and his is very sticky. See how it's sticking to his hands? At this point, I'm going to give him some more flour because this may happen to you at home, so you'll know what to do. As you can see, Christian has been able to amend his salt dough by adding more flour. It's just perfect now. So no need to despair if yours is a little bit sticky. You can fix it. So as you can see, Bridget is done mixing hers together, and she has a perfect consistency. See how she's able to knead that without it sticking to her hands? I'm just gonna come on and get a close-up on that. Also, you'll notice that she has a really nice big amount of salt dough. That will be enough for 2 of the project that we're doing today if you use your dough wisely. Or you can make one thing and then just come up with some other stuff on your own. A lot of times people will use cookie cutters to make salt dough ornaments. So Bridget's been kneading for 3 minutes, and as you can see, hers is like a really nice, good consistency. At this point, she's going to break this in half because that's how much we'll be using for the project. So just put one on the side, and then she'll roll that one into a ball and place it in between her 2 parchment sheets. These parchment sheets have been used before to make salt dough. You can use parchment sheets again and again. You can just wash them with a little bit of water and soap. So what Bridget's going to do is take the rolling pin and place it on top of the top parchment sheet with a ball in between. So let's put this one in there. Thank you. I like to smush mine down a little bit to make it like a hamburger, and then from there I roll it out. Bridget, what you're looking for is a 1/8 inch thickness. As you can see, Bridget has hers at exactly 1/8, so we'll replace that to the parchment paper and get started. So now what Bridget is doing, she's making a rectangular shape just using the straight edge. Again, you can use any straight edge at home. And this is approximately the width of a cell phone, smartphone cell phone, and about 3/4 the height of it. So what you're looking at here is the plain salt dough that we made, and also a piece of salt dough that has been colored with food coloring. We're just going to show you how we did that here. Place just 2 or 3 drops in there. Again, you can do the same thing with gel food coloring. You just squirt it out and let it dissolve in the water. What Bridget has here is a liquid that she just made, food coloring, and she's going to pour some of that on top of the salt dough piece that she made before. As you can see, she's not using a ton because we don't want to use the change the consistency of the salt dough and make it too sticky. We'd like it to stay at the same consistency, just have some color. So Bridget's now going to just knead that in with her hands. So as you can see, Bridget's got this color mixed into her salt dough at this point. At this point is marbled, which is a really pretty look, or you could just keep going and get that to be fully pink. If you used blue, you could get it to be fully blue. The idea is to get the color in without changing the consistency and making it too sticky. So while Bridget's been working to show us how to get color into our salt dough, Michael's been working on something of an example here. What he's doing is scoring. So he has a piece of salt dough that he wants to add to the face of his other piece of salt dough. On the back, he's put little marks. He's gonna put some little marks on the piece that it's going on. And what happens is, they kind of work together and stick together better that way. It's kind of like when you're refinishing a piece of furniture and you sand it down before you paint it. It's kind of a similar idea. Now just push that on there and gently pat it. Michael's done a great job of scoring this. The one thing I would say is that when you do add pieces on the top, you want to make sure that they're somewhere around that 1/8 of an inch thickness as well. Next, Michael is going to show us how to make a doorway. He scores it first with his popsicle craft stick. And then once he has that done, he's just going to lift that piece right out. It may come out in pieces, it doesn't matter because that's not the piece that you want. Christian's going to show us an example of piercing the side. So he has a tool that's kind of like a big hard straw. He pushed it down, he mushed it in, he pulled it out, and voila. Now, he has a hole. He has not weakened the integrity of the piece, right? You don't want to put these too close to the edges, or you don't want to put too many, or you don't want too big of a piece. One thing that's kind of fun is you can take this piece that came out, score the back of it, score a piece on here, stick them together. Now you have something that's 3-dimensional. So Bridget has taken the 2 food colorings, the one that is more concentrated and the one that's watered down, and made a lovely design. You can see the watered down one makes a nice background color that's lighter, and the concentrated food coloring has made the design on the top. She used 2 brushes, the bigger one to do the back and the smaller one for the detailing. Once you're done decorating your pieces, you can get them ready to go into the oven to bake. We'll be baking these at 300 degrees for 1 hour. You will need 4 pieces in total. In order to fasten your pieces together, we'll be using twist ties. The holes that you see are where the twist ties will go. We made these on top of the baking sheet so that we can make sure they were lined up properly. What you do to make the holes is you just press a straw down. These pieces are not on top of parchment paper, but yours should be when they go into the oven to bake. Put the parchment paper in between the pieces in the baking sheet. The craft stick is there to show you that if you're not happy with how straight your edge is, you can still fix it at this point. Simply push the craft stick down to straighten the edge and get rid of the unwanted bit of salt dough. Do this on the top and the bottom. Making sure your bottom bits are straight will keep your ornament from wobbling once it's on the table. Make sure you don't put the craft stick in the oven. Once your pieces are done baking, give them a little while to cool down. At this point, they should be hard and not puffy. If they're a little puffy to the touch, put them back in the oven for about 10 minutes, but make sure to check on them so that they don't burn or turn brown. Now that our pieces are done, let's check in with Bridget so she can show us how to assemble them to make our salt dough house ornaments. What Bridget's doing is she's weaving a twist tie with the points facing in to assemble it together. There are 2 spaces for the twist ties on each corner where the corner meets on all 4 sides. So what she's just done is she pulled them in, she twisted them together. You'll repeat that 8 times, so 2 times per corner. To make it a little bit fancier, we've added some ribbon. Walk us through making the base. This is our finished product. We'd like to have a little bit of cotton around the edges. So right now what Bridget's doing is she's just putting some glue on the edge. She's using a regular cotton ball. She's just pulled it into some pieces. Just gonna stick it on the edge. So you would just continue that for the 4 edges, and then we'll see how pretty that looks on top of there. You'll notice there's a little bit of glitter there. We use that. It's just regular nail polish with glitter in it. It acts as a sealant and also gives it a little bit more shine. So now that we have our ribbons on there, we have it on our nice snowy base, we've added our glitter. We can go ahead and put our mini votive in there. And this is a flameless one, meaning it's electronic, not one with real flame, but you can see even in this bright room how it just lights that up nicely. And this will look really nice on a countertop or even on a mantelpiece.